welcome to yet another video of Mentor Talk series, an initiative by Preplaced where we bring you to guidance from top professionals across the world to help you frame a correct interview preparation strategy and provide valuable insights on how to advance your career. So today we have with us Sudhir Giri. He is a software engineer at Google and has 5 years of experience. He is also a career coach and an interview preparation mentor at Preplaced. Hello Sudhir. It is a delight having you here. Tell us a little about yourself and your journey.
Yeah, so I'm Sudhir. I'm currently working as a software engineer in Google. Prior to Google, I have worked with Paytm and also worked with Amazon. I completed my engineering from MIT Pune in computer science in 2016. Yeah, so that's pretty much a brief introduction about me.
That's great. So can you tell us what technologies do you work on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so technology involves, if I talk about programming language, so in Google, we have, my team handles services which includes language in Java, and then we have some specific services in Golang as well, and then some deployment model we need to write in C++. Yeah, so these three. Apart from that, we use internal databases, uh, and there's some sort of caching system as well.
Great. So what is the interview process at your company for your role and how many interview rounds are there basically?
So it starts with a phone screening round. In some cases, there are a couple of phone screening. After you clear that phone screening, you have an on-site round. So generally, it involves like 3-4 technical interview on-site round, and then you have one Googleness round that you have to go through. Googleness round is more on the behavioral questions.
Okay. So can you dive a little deep into each interview round that is going to take place when a student or candidate is applying for the role?
Yeah. So, well, every interview consists of 45-minute duration, and in that 45 minute, last 5 minutes are kept, to answer the question of candidate. So the remaining 40 minutes, you are given a one problem, and then you have to solve that. If you solve it quickly, you are given a more tougher follow-up questions. In some cases, I also noticed that interviewer ask a warm-up question. Warm-up question as in they want you to come up with that solution in quick, like 3-4 minutes, and then they go ahead with the next question. So this is more of a interview structure look like, and this is pretty normal in almost all technical round that we, even though it is phone screening or the on-site. So these are the things. Yeah.
Great. So what do interviewers really look for the candidates in their resumes?
Or in the resumes or in the interview round?
No.
I didn't get the
While
question.
the candidates is going for the interview, so what are really interviewers looking for in their resume? Like, what are the key points that the candidate should prepare in their resume?
Yeah. So in the resume, when you make your resume, ensure that you have a good problem solving skills, and if you have that, mention that in your resume.
Right.
And then good project contributions. Also ensure that whenever you are writing about your project, what contribution have you made in that project? That is more important than what your team does in more depth. That doesn't help our interviewer look out your contributions.
Right.
So the most important thing is that, and then the other thing is that if you have some competitive programming experience, do mention that in your resume. This gives a little standout from other candidates.
So, what are your tips on how candidates should prepare for this role?
And, so there are different labels in my software engineer as in Google as well. So basically, it starts with L4, L3, L4, and L5. So L5 is more on the higher or little senior level, where you have one additional round of system design. Apart from that, till L4, I am currently L4 at Google. So for L4, you only have to go through the data structure and algorithms. Yeah, and you have very good understanding of data structure and algorithm.
Right. So, is there any specific course or resource that you would like to recommend to the candidates?
Yes. So there are two things. The first thing is that if your basics are not clear, then I'll recommend you to go to the basics first. Clear those basics or fundamentals, as you say. Then go to go more deep dive on that. Apart from that, if you have your basics and fundamentals clear, then there are a lot of websites that you can go to prepare. Lead Code is one of them. I generally prepare from three: Lead Code, Gigs for Gigs, and there's another website called Interview Bit, where they are Interview Bit helps in the very later stage of your interview, and you wanted to have a interview like setup, right? Practice. So there is a clock there. When you open any question interview, there is a clock there, and that clock gets started. So that
Right.
gives you a little pressure of an interview setup. Yeah.
Great. So, do you think that mock interviews help in these kind of interviews with the big tech companies? And would you like to, talk about mock interviews?
Definitely, yeah, it helped. It helped a lot. It helped me also personally. So because when I was interviewing it, I didn't know that Preplaced exists. So my mock interview only involves with interviewing with the my friends. So I generally told my friend that hey, take my mock interview and see how, where are those gaps, and they are kind enough to take those. But yeah, that definitely helps. And also that because when you prepare, you don't understand like where are those gaps. You feel that you are going in the right direction. There should be someone you know judging you who has already been in your shoes already. So yeah,
Right.
that helps a lot.
Great. So, what are the common mistakes that you have seen candidates make in the interview, and are there any tips for from your side to avoid them?
Yeah. So the one very common mistake that I see candidate during that interview is one is not spending enough time on a problem. So whenever a problem is asked to a candidate, they directly jump onto the solution. And that is a very red flag in an interview. Whenever a question is given to you, spend at least 5 minutes on that and take example from your end and guess the output of it and just ask interviewer that if this output is correct. The moment he says yes, then now you have a good idea of the problem. Then you can go ahead and find the solution. The second mistakes that I generally see in candidates is not communicating enough during an interview when you are basically uh, even though you are thinking of solution, think it out loud because that helps interviewer also that which direction are you going, and if you're going the wrong direction, he might feel the urge to put you in a right direction. But if you're not doing that in an interview, he will not know like what are you thinking and all, and he will not stop you also. So that actually is I think candidates should keep an eye on.
Right. So, is there any special tip that comes in your mind to tell the candidates before going for the interview or before applying for the role?
Yeah, so I generally have this that when, as I have already told you, for the basics, if your basics are not clear, have a timeline of like 6 to 1 month, 6 months to 1 year. And if your
Right.
basics are clear, then I think 3 months timeline is enough. And then when you're going in an interview, just keep in the mind, go in an interview with the mindset that you are just going to have a discussion with a stranger in which you have to lead the entire interview. That actually ease the pressure a little bit from your end, the
Mhm.
fear and anxiety of the interview. Yeah.
So, can you share a little bit like how is working at Google for you, and do you enjoy the work there or not? So that candidates will get the idea of how the work there is at Google.
Yeah. So I mean, the first thing, the perks of there are a whole lot of perks of working at Google, and that is there in in the internet also. But one thing that stands out for me is there are a lot of smart people in Google. So when you're outside, you feel that you're doing very good and all, but when you come to Google, and then all the peers are in the Google for like almost like 7 or 8 years, and they're extremely smart. When you talk to them, you learn a lot. So I think learning is a lot of I think one of the perks that you get to work at Google.
Right. That's great. I think that was quite insightful, whatever you have shared here. And it's not only going to help candidates who are going for the software engineering role, but will also help other candidates from other domain as well. So, everyone who is watching this video, if you want to learn from top mentors like this and have an edge in your interview preparation, do visit our website www.preplace.in and book a session today. Thank you, Sudeep, for coming here and giving us your valuable time. Thank you for being here and sharing your information as well.
Thanks for giving me an opportunity. Yeah, bye.